Joined once again by One Soccer's Christian Jack. We go back to this theme again, KJ, of one big window: September, October, November, and the opponents: Romania, Wales, Australia, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador. This one feels like the big one, the number 13 team in the world, Colombia. What do you make of Jesse Marsch's plan and preparation and the opponents he selected?
Yeah, it's fascinating in a way because he used the word excited today, that he was excited to play a team that yesterday in his chat with you, Matthew, he said they're lethal. So in one end, he's looking at a lethal opponent that is going to really significantly test his team. But on the other side, he's excited about that. And I think that speaks to where Jesse is and this Canadian team are right now in their development. And it goes back to me following Copa America and the beginning of the Jesse Marsch tenure. First 8 games, you have to remember, the Netherlands and then France and then 6 of the best in South America playing in Copa America to the semi-finals. And even though they only won 1 of 8, I asked him again about that today, and Jonathan Osorio, and both of them said that they look back at that time as being the building block that really brought the belief back into the team following a difficult few months. So here we are again against the team, as you alluded to, ranked 13. I think they're top 10 in the world. Could be a massive test. They've just thrashed Mexico 4-0. But they're excited about building the blocks towards the World Cup and how tomorrow's game against Colombia is going to help that.
Building the blocks towards the World Cup will inevitably lead to him selecting the best players he thinks not only to be a part of that, whether it's 23 or 26 players, but that starting 11 that he's going to narrow on. And I want to focus particularly on something that's happened regularly now in Jesse Marsch's press conference. We talked about this when we were in Swansea. He's intentional in who he brings in and who he sits with. And obviously, Jonathan Osorio, his family's from Colombia, has a strong connection to the nation and the men's national team there. But there's a lot of pressure on Jonathan Osorio. I asked him, and then in the midst of answering, I believe it was your question, Jesse Marsch stopped and went back to my question and was very effusive about Jonathan Osorio and his career. Do you think he's trying to walk a fine line as he makes these decisions? He talks about leadership and building people is his focus as much as being a coach is. But is it going to be tough to kind of play both sides eventually?
Eventually. He is aware of that. Look, we think FIFA is going to announce 26 for the roster for the World Cup. That will help that decision. There's a core of probably 30 at best now who are looking for the spots here. And Jonathan Osorio didn't play in Europe, and you picked Junior Hoylett. So I think he's trying to continue to build them up. What we know about Jesse Marsch is he's got that paternal leadership quality where he'll look over at the answer that the player is asking. He doesn't stare into space when the player is in the press conference. He's listening. He's looking over it. Even when Jonathan answered in Spanish about his time in loving Colombia when he was following in the 1998 World Cup, Jesse's almost looking over that and smiling. He's learning about the guy that he's teaching and coaching every day and learning more and more about that. So I think it'll be fascinating to see how he continues to build that. But you're right, doesn't matter whether it's been Kyle Larin, Ismael Kone, Jonathan Osorio, or even the goalies, he builds them up.
What a transition, because the big decision that Jesse Marsch, and he acknowledges this, is who he's going to pick to be his number 1, Dane St. Clair or Maxime Crépeau. I asked him if he has yet seen the very outstanding performances we've seen out of Dane St. Clair. He has 10 clean sheets in MLS, the best save percentage, and you think back to the game against San Diego that Minnesota United had, or the game against Colorado recently, he was the man of the match. 12 saves against San Diego. I think it was 7 against Colorado. Excellent. He dominated the net and Minnesota United's defense. But at some point, he's going to have to make a decision. How critical is tomorrow night for Dane St. Clair?
Yeah, it's another massive moment for him, and the magnifying glass just gets a little smaller and smaller and smaller because they know the pressure is on them, right? Colombia are going to have a fantastic attack. We don't know who's going to play exactly, but we know for sure that it's going to be a very difficult opponent for Dane St. Clair. I think fascinating, again, out of this for me was Jesse Marsch's answer where he said he's almost thinking about the goalkeeper he's going to have to say no to rather than the goalkeeper he's going to say yes to. But you alluded to it. Match here in Harrison, New Jersey on Tuesday. 2 more and then in November. After that, it's getting closer and closer to make that call.
This is a very significant game for the men's national team. Watch closely because what happens against Colombia tomorrow will certainly influence his decisions going into next summer.